Aloha everyone, this is Dr. BethAnne. I am an intuition guide and I teach others on intuitive living and embodying our intuition. So it's Sunday, and on Sundays I do mini energy updates on my channel. So we're going to dive right in today to the energy update. So the image that I got when I asked for what is the energy for this week was of a beautiful forest with tall pine trees standing still. And the words that came through were tend to your roots. So this is a really good week to think about what is rooting you, what is anchoring you. If you've recently transplanted in your life, transplanted from a relationship, transplanted from a job, transplanted identity where you're shifting, this is a good week to think about what roots are you putting down, what are you re-grounding into, what are you using to anchor yourself right now. The beauty of the image of the tall pine tree is they reach so high into the sky, right? Trees are metaphors for the Akashic records here on earth because they're fully entrenched and planted into the earth, and yet they reach up so high into the sky, and so they're able to energetically be in these two places at once and really act as a conduit or a column for spiritual information to come through and then to be transmuted through the roots, transmuted through the bark. So we get to be like trees this week. We get to think, how are we tending to our roots? How are we anchoring ourselves? And what are we trying to grow from that, right? Because the reason that we ground and the reason that we root is so that we can be tree-like. Grounding always sounds so unglamorous. It's like the least fun thing when you think about intuition development. Let's talk about grounding. But it's such an important thing because the more we're grounded, the taller we can grow. And when we're grounded into the right things and we figure out how to ground into ourselves, then it actually opens our intuition wide up and it allows us to open up to the possibility of spirit in bigger ways. So tend to your roots. And something that's coming through to add to that is we can always ground into love. A lot of things represent our roots. Like a really fun activity that you could do is draw a tree and draw the roots and then picture your life as the roots and say, what am I rooting into right now? What do I want at the foundation? What a great self-development activity. But we can always ground into the energy of love. If we are feeling ungrounded, we can always ground into nature. We can always picture being a tree, and we can always ground into the energy of love because nature's so supporting and nature loves us. We can always ground into that source energy, and we can always put our hand in our heart and just be in our hearts and be in our heart chakra and work on anchoring ourselves into that energy. So this is a great week to tend to our roots. The energy feels a little bit stuck. Like that image of a tree is about being steady and it's about being solid. The energy might feel a little bit like it's not moving as fast as you want it to this week. It might feel like things are not happening at the rate that you want for them to, but they will happen, right? Movement is happening. That tree is reaching up and it's growing up. So just because you don't see movement on the surface of your life, or things feel like they might be retrograding on the surface of your life, doesn't mean that you're not growing, and it doesn't mean that you're not having movement. It just means you're having vertical movement now. And a lot of us who are really drawn to our intuition and the spiritual journey are really going through a lot of vertical alignment and a lot of vertical energetic cleansing right now to really help us grow up, and then we're going to take that energy and apply it horizontally into our lives on the material plane because we're going to be that much more firmly rooted. So the card I pulled for this week, and I always just sort of do the shuffle and see what pops out of the deck. It is Summer. And it is Bask in Joy and Light. This is from Kyle Gray's Angels and Ancestors Oracle card deck. They are wonderful. They are lovely. And that message goes with the trees of enjoy being rooted, enjoy being in the light, enjoy being the tall pine who is enjoying just receiving from the sun and receiving from the sky and receiving receiving energy that helps tend to its roots without even trying. Bask in that. See how you can bring joy into life this week. Most people that I've been talking to have had a really challenging 2019, and joy has been a tough commodity sometimes that hasn't always come as easy as it does when life is a little bit more in grace and ease. So how can you invite joy in this week? And how can you how could you make joy one of your roots? Talk about tending to your roots. How could you plant a root for joy and start a joy practice that was helping anchor you? That would be really powerful. So thank you so much for joining me for my energy update. I do intuition development on this channel, so feel free to subscribe if that speaks to you. And all of my individual offerings, as well as my classes, are on my website, BethAnneKW.com. If you are looking for more growth and support on your journey, I would love to be there for you. All right, aloha and light. I appreciate you watching so much. So have a beautiful day.